So I'm going to come in hot on this one. I think jealousy gets a terrible reputation, and it doesn't fully deserve it.
Okay, I'm already skeptical. Go ahead.
Here's the thing. Jealousy is an emotion. It's information. It's your brain going, hey, something matters to you and it might be at risk.
Sure, but pain is also information, and I don't go around calling a broken leg healthy.
That's fair. But actually, pain is healthy in the sense that it tells you something's wrong. Without pain signals, people destroy their own bodies. There's a condition for that.
Congenital insensitivity to pain. Yeah, okay, I walked into that one.
Right. So jealousy as a signal, as a little flare going up, I think that's genuinely useful. It tells you what you value.
But wait, there's a massive difference between the flare and what people actually do with it. Most of the time, jealousy doesn't stay as a quiet signal. It becomes controlling behavior, paranoia, resentment.
Okay, but that's not jealousy's fault. That's what happens when you don't process it.
I'd push back on that. I think jealousy by its nature tends to escalate. It feeds on itself. You feel jealous, you start looking for evidence, you find ambiguous stuff, and the jealousy grows.
Sometimes, sure, but there's research on this. Evolutionary psychologists argue jealousy literally evolved to protect pair bonds, like it served a survival function.
I mean, a lot of things evolved that served survival functions. Aggression evolved too. Doesn't mean it's healthy in a modern context.
That's a good point. But here's what I keep coming back to. I read this study from the University of California where they found that moderate jealousy in relationships was actually correlated with higher relationship satisfaction.
Wait, seriously? Higher satisfaction?
Yeah, the idea being that a little jealousy signals investment. It says, I care enough about this to feel threatened by losing it, and partners often interpret that as a sign of commitment.
Okay, I can see that. But I also think that's a really dangerous line to walk, because who decides what moderate means? One person's moderate is another person's checking your phone while you sleep.
True. And I'm absolutely not defending the phone checking, the controlling, the where were you last night interrogation stuff. That's toxic. Full stop.
Right? So maybe we need to separate the feeling from the behavior.
Exactly. The feeling, healthy. What you do with it, that's where it can go sideways.
I mostly agree, but I'd add a caveat. I think some jealousy isn't informational at all. Some of it is just insecurity wearing a mask.
Say more about that.
Like, if you're jealous because your partner had lunch with a coworker and nothing inappropriate happened, that's not a signal about the relationship. That's a signal about your own stuff, your attachment style, past trauma, whatever.
Okay, but couldn't you argue that's still useful information? It's telling you something about yourself that you need to work on.
That's actually a fair reframe. I'll give you that. But the jealousy itself isn't healthy in that case. It's just a symptom pointing to something that needs healing.
See? And I think that's where we disagree. You want to call the jealousy unhealthy and the self-awareness healthy. I think the jealousy is part of the self-awareness.
Okay, what about jealousy outside of romantic relationships? Like professional jealousy, envying someone's career.
Oh, this is where I think it gets really interesting. Because professional jealousy can be incredibly motivating. You see someone doing what you want to do, and it lights a fire.
Or it makes you bitter and resentful, and you spend more time hating their success than building your own.
Sure, but there's actually a distinction in psychology between benign envy and malicious envy. Benign envy is like, I want what they have, let me work for it. Malicious envy is, I want them to lose what they have.
Right, right. And studies show benign envy can actually increase motivation and performance. I've seen that data. I believe it.
So you're agreeing with me. At least some forms of jealousy are productive?
I'm agreeing that envy can be productive. I'm not sure I'd even call benign envy jealousy, though. I think jealousy implies a possessiveness that envy doesn't.
That's a semantic argument, but I actually think you might be onto something there. Jealousy is about fear of losing something you have. Envy is about wanting something someone else has.
Exactly, and if we're being precise, I think envy can be healthy. Jealousy, real jealousy, the possessive fear of loss kind, I think that's almost always a warning sign, not a feature.
I still think you're being too hard on it. A flash of jealousy when someone flirts with your partner. That's normal. That's human. And I think pretending you're above that is just dishonest.
I'm not saying you should pretend you don't feel it. I'm saying feeling it doesn't make it healthy. It makes it normal. Normal and healthy aren't the same thing.
That's wild. You think something can be a universal human emotion and still not be healthy?
Absolutely. Anxiety is universal. Doesn't mean chronic anxiety is healthy. The question is always, does this emotion, at this level, serve you?
Okay. Okay. I think I see where we actually land on this. We both agree jealousy is information.
Yes, we agree there.
We both agree that acting on jealousy in controlling or destructive ways is toxic.
100%.
Where we split is whether the feeling itself gets to be called healthy or whether it's just a neutral signal that you need to do something with.
Yeah, I think it's a smoke alarm. Useful, but the smoke alarm isn't healthy. It's just doing its job. And sometimes it goes off because you burned toast, not because the house is on fire.
I love that analogy. I still think a working smoke alarm is a healthy thing to have, though.
And I think a smoke alarm that goes off every time you boil water needs its batteries checked.